Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Sons and Daughters of Liberty. I hope everybody is doing well. Only a couple days away from this year finally being over. What a year it's been, right? I'm sure we'll touch on that a little bit. Sure, we'll touch a little bit into that, not too much. I pretty much was just gonna got a few things I want to ramble on about, honestly. No, it's been a while since we've done a Truth You Can't Handle the Truth podcast. But I think it's long overdue, especially as we're coming and getting ready to go into 2023. I mean, we don't need to be carrying the same baggage, keep repeating the same crap that we're doing. And this is probably going to be one of those podcasts. I'm not everyone's cup of tea, so we're just going to state it now. I'll probably end up offending you at some point, triggering you at some point. Take offense, you do it if you want to, or just taking it with a grain of salt. Sometimes you just got to call it as you see it. I do it, but I don't blatantly do it a lot of times. And sometimes I just think that it just has to be done. You need to be straightforward, to the point, blunt. And more than likely, this video is probably not going to stay up because I'm going to probably end up saying some things that will get this video taken down anyway. It's going to be one of those videos. So there's a few things that gets my blood boiling. There's a lot of that been going on this year. You know, I see too many egotistical maniacs out there that all they care about is their numbers. Really, it's all they care about. Some of them just care about making a buck. But, they're the first ones to complain. Oh, they're bashing me. But they're the ones, I've always stated this part. If you're going to be on these platforms, don't get mad when you get nailed, when you get demonetized. Because you've chosen to open that door. I didn't tell you to do that. YouTube didn't tell you to do that. They gave you the option to do it. They gave you a choice to do that. By taking that choice, there's consequences. That consequences is when you start talking about things that goes against their narrative or the government's narrative or against your country's narrative, their quid pro quo. Well, you're going to get demonetized. You're going to catch strikes. Hell, I've been doing this for 7 years. Never had a strike. Never had a community guideline violation. And actually still don't. But I had YouTube this year remove 2 videos. And it was convenient. Perfect timing. Right when the election cycle was coming around for midterms. They pushed the political bullshit again. And they removed them. Both videos just happen to be with a special guest that comes on once in a blue moon here. But we just happen to be. And they're both, get this, the year in a review. (2021, 2020) videos with sore 0.9. I mean, they went back that far, and there's so much shit they could have. God, come on, you guys know me. You know my big mouth. I don't hold my tongue. I don't go put it over on a private paywall on my personal website. I talk about it right here. I don't hide on another platform and talk about these things. But we got people that do. Some stuff they talk about so important, but they don't realize They get all this reach when they do their live stream, 65,000, 60,000 viewers. These powerful, good messages. But they take the real juicy stuff because they're scared. They're afraid. They live in fear that they're going to get their stuff taken down. They're going to get demonetized. I'm talking about the Tim Pools, the Alex Joneses. And it's like, that's the stuff that people need to hear, the stuff you're taking back to those paywalls of private sites where they got to have a subscription to watch. It makes no sense. Why do you live your life in fear? You know, I mean, the funniest thing was, I just found out about this a couple days ago. You know, so there's a bunch of YouTubers that were sponsoring somebody, and you know, I'm sure you guys heard about it. Get a title for like small portion of land. Well, it turned out to be a scam. I mean, that's how thirsty some people's gotten for money. They probably wouldn't do these platforms if they couldn't make money off them. But the same people that bitch about the censorship, when there's real censorship going on, we've seen what our government, our FBI, our CIA, and our government and our politicians have done when it comes to censoring people on these platforms. They set the precedent, and they made it okay for this to happen. They made it okay for people to get fact checkers when it's your responsibility to fact check your own stuff. Fact check what you hear. It's your job to question everything. I don't care who's saying it. I don't care if it's your preacher saying it from the pulpit. You should question everything. But you guys don't. Or you're too scared to, because, I'm going to trigger somebody. Well, good. You did your job. As a human being, you did your job. You made somebody question something and think for themselves. You know, the other big thing that's going on that I'm so sick of seeing in all my feeds is this transgender crap. You know, we all know what's going on is a crime. It's illegal. It's immoral. But you know what? You know why it's getting so popular? So many people, because you keep sharing the damn thing. I don't care some fucking jackass is using fucking ketchup packets to stick up you know what so they can say I'm a woman and I bleed. I don't care. I find it quite disgusting, honestly. I don't care. I don't want to see the pictures of that company that was posted on Instagram. I don't care if you black it out. Because you know what? You have that shit on your computer and it wasn't blacked out to begin with. It means you're just as guilty as the people that published it. And that's by law. You know how hard it is to go after these assholes, these sick fucks on these platforms and social media platforms when they have child pornography and stuff like that? You are not even allowed to take a screenshot. Otherwise, you can be charged with the same damn crime. You literally got to go through hoops to get these people. Contact the FBI agencies. Go through the fucking mumble jumble that takes sometimes hours to get and you get no action. Really, you don't. They're too worried about censoring people on these platforms and not doing their job and going after the real criminals. But I don't want to see that shit in my feed. You want to know why I don't want to see it? Because you're just giving more people. That's why I hate TikTok. I hate YouTube Shorts. It is emboldening people to be stupid. They're getting this diva complex. Oh, I can be a diva. I can be an overnight sensation. I can go viral. So I'm going to do this. And believe it or not, probably 90% of them don't even have aren't even trans to begin with. They're doing it to make a quick buck. And we're giving them all the publicity by sharing the crap. You know how you kill your critics? You silence them. You don't share their stuff. You talk about it. You don't share it. You ever heard the saying, killing somebody with kindness, killing them silently? You don't have to talk it. We can talk about it. We don't have to share the images. We don't have to retweet their TikTok. Now we're just drawing them more attention. More people are going to go to the page. They're going to get, and it pushes them up. So it's in everybody's face now. We're just as guilty when we start doing that stuff because we're giving them attention. And the way the internet and the algorithms work, they pay attention when we go click on that stuff. Hey, they're getting traffic. Let's put it more up top. And in some cases, these sickos are doing it on purpose. So, I'm sick and tired about talking about politics because you guys all say you want change, but you do nothing to make change happen. Other than cry, bitch, moan, and complain. It's falling on deaf ears because we're tired of hearing you cry and bitch, moan, and complain and do nothing. We're tired of seeing you vote the same idiots back into office. You don't want change, obviously. Because if you wanted change that bad, why aren't you the poster boy running for election? Why aren't you finding somebody in your community that is that poster boy or poster woman to be running for elections that have the same views and beliefs as most of the Americans? Yes, I get it. The system's rigged. But I tell you what, it's only as rigged as far as we allow it to be rigged. Just like Kyle Rittenhouse. He's about to find out the biggest joke of the legal system of them all. Because he's about to get brutally screwed in the civil court system. Because he was acquitted. Doesn't mean shit when it comes to the civil court system. Another broken system. And he's probably more than likely going to lose his cases in the civil court system. Because they don't play by the same rules as the other broken court system. It's a whole different ball game. And I hate to see that for somebody so young. But he's put the bullseye on his back. He decided to be a champion for his cause. For the cause that he started that became his. And I respect that. But there's consequences to it. People are going to come after you. The families are going to come after you because they know they can. Because they know it's a hell of a lot easier to win in a civil courtroom than win a criminal case in a criminal courtroom. They're going to hit him so financially, he'll be broke for most of his life. Because we know about all the corruptions within our legal system, but we do nothing to fix it. Half the time, most people don't even vote their judges in anymore. They just, okay, there's a name. They don't do the research. It's sad. Yes, I get it. You don't have time. Make time. There's no excuse. I work 11-hour days. I still find time to research something when it catches my attention. Like, wait, what's this? I just had the Washington Post block me on Twitter because I called them out on their bullshit for the measles vaccines. There's a measles outbreak in the state of Ohio. What? I haven't heard of it. I'm from Ohio. It's just in the doctors out a week ago. Nobody's talking about that. They're not checking for measles. They're not asking if you got a vaccine for measles. I was like I said, where's your facts? Where's this happening at? None of us have heard it. Yep. Nope. Can't question the Washington Post, obviously. But I am questioning it. It's my job. As a human being, as a citizen of the United States, it's my job to question when I see something that's fishy. Has measles been making a comeback? Yes, actually it has. It's actually been making a bigger comeback ever since the COVID vaccines. And YouTube, you can shove it up your fucking ass. That's actually scientifically fact and proven now. We've had a lot of stuff that we've eradicated start making comebacks after the vaccines from COVID. But yet, these platforms, because the CDC says so, the FBI says so, our politicians says so, you need to censor that. They can't talk about that. Cry me a fucking river. I can talk about whatever I want when I want. If you don't like it, change the fucking channel. Go find somebody else to watch. Honestly. Nobody talks about how bad we're getting screwed in taxes. We get taxed by the federal government, and we get taxed by the state. We get taxed twice. We get taxed for everything we buy. And we get taxed again by the federal government. You know how much money we'd be making if we didn't have to pay these outrageous taxes? You know how much savings we'd save if we didn't have to pay these outrageous gas taxes, food taxes, cigarette taxes, alcohol taxes, firearm taxes? Where does our taxpayer money go? Well, 100 million went to fucking Ukraine that we're going to be paying for a war that 98% of Americans don't even support. And why should we? They're not an ally. It's not our pet problem. They're not even a UN or a NATO ally. NATO has rejected them. It ain't our problem. We've got bigger problems right here in our own soil. We want to send all this military aid and stuff to protect their borders. What about ours? What about our southern borders? Our coastal borders? Our northern borders? No, they don't care about that. Well, it's obvious. We all know. They want these people to come in. They want them to go to certain states. Here, we're going to give you a voting ID. We're going to give you an ID so you can vote. We're going to get you set up. We're going to give you welfare. We're going to give you access to insurance. But you won't give the homeless that. You won't give our struggling vets out there that kind of care and treatment. You'll give criminals that, though, because that's what they're committing, a crime. It's very clearly stated within our laws that there's only one or two ways to come across our border legally. And that is through asylum, through an embassy, the nearest embassy. Not the one you wait till you get to Mexico to go to. Your nearest embassy. So once you came from wherever you came from another country into Central America, well, you're supposed to go to that embassy from that other country first, if we have one there. Our politicians don't care. The only time they care is when you start busing them to their residency. Oh, then they got a big problem with it. Well, you have no problem putting them on private planes and military planes and shipping them across the United States to various places. Oh, that's perfectly fine. We don't talk about how they throw in our face, well, there's kids. Well, yeah, there will be. There's usually 2 or 3 kids with a male who's not their relative. It's using the kids to get across. It's a form of trafficking. We don't want to talk about the real trafficking that's going on. I mean, geez, heaven forbid. But here we are. I mean, it's just an ongoing cycle. We complain, we complain, we complain. We want change. We scream for change, but we don't make change happen. You know, the few that try are just basically echoing an empty room because there's not enough. There's not enough people going to the voting polls and making these changes. And I get it. Most 90% of Americans don't even trust the polling systems. I mean, look at Arizona. Why would we? Look at Pennsylvania. Why would we? I've never trusted it from the get-go. Why? Because I might vote. Let's just use Biden and Trump for example. I would have voted for Trump, obviously. But my vote don't matter because Biden won, so therefore my vote, my county's electoral vote, even though that county might have been for Trump, went to Biden. And that's a very broken system. Every vote should matter. Every vote should count. We shouldn't see, like happened in Michigan, 3 cities change the state when every rural county was red and you only had 3 blue, which just happened to be cities. That should never, ever happen. But it does. It happens a lot. You know, like I said, we get caught up in these things. We get caught up in the arguments of things, and we miss, like I missed that. So many people missed that. It took a teenager to point that out. You know, how we always complain, our kids and teenagers, you know, they're not the brightest bunch out there. You know, we always create general terms for them. Just because of the few doesn't mean it applies to the many. But most people can't step outside their echo chambers. I know, I was one of them. I was listening to all these podcasters talk about the snowflakes and millennials. You know, when I actually stepped outside of that echo chamber and started working around these college kids, I started seeing things with my own eyes, not listening to the echo chamber. I found that, hot damn, a lot of these kids get it, or starting to get it, starting to question things. Things aren't adding up. And I watched it unfold before my eyes, and it's like, man, we got that wrong. And in fact, I've said that in podcasts. In fact, I had a couple millennials on. It was on the Smoke and Toke Show podcast. I think we've only done like 3 of those. But, a college student. Some interesting things were talked about. How these college campuses work. How the crime statistic doesn't show in the city statistic or the county statistic because they're private. The security's private, so therefore it gets to be hidden. There's in that particular one, there was also talk about how people were raped on the campuses, but it never got to the police because it was done internally through the private security. Boom, North Carolina, App State, their police or hired security, has jurisdiction within city limits because they consider the campus the whole of city limits because, well, it's on top of a mountain. And yes, there's a lot of stuff there, but it's small. So therefore, city limits is also part of the campus, considered part of the college. But their crime statistics are very low. So you know, oh crap. That was weird. I got this. My Bluetooth on TV was muted and it got disconnected. You know, it's weird the things we live in. I mean, this year it's been crazy. You know, it's midterms and the shit we're finding out on the Twitter files. With the take that with a grain of salt. That's pretty much what I'm doing. Crazy weather, but they want to blame that on climate change. If you can't read between the lines on that one, I mean, we was taught that basic science when I was growing up. I don't even want to know what kind of science they teach now. Obviously, they don't teach a scientific method and the proper way to do question science. I mean, science is just that, questioning things. But yet we can't question science. And science is a theory until it is proven. That's what science is for, to prove a theory right or wrong, to prove the existence of something or non-existence of something. But we use science, our governments use science, the corporations that they pay, the scientific research companies that they pay to do their research, not the other institutes who struggle to get funding. You want to know real science from fake science, follow the money. How much money is our government funneled into that science lab or that science institute? Yeah, they've given a bunch. Probably a good idea not to take their word for it. Just like, oh, green. We need all these EV cars. Yeah, but they don't tell you how they make them. They don't tell you how to make the lithium batteries or the chips that are needed. They don't tell you how deadly cobalt is. They don't tell you that you can't recycle these batteries. It's very environmental unfriendly. Even landfills that take batteries, that landfill can never be used for 30, 40, 50 years. That's how one, there's no really recycling of batteries because of the acids. It contaminates the soil for a very long period of time. It's actually more dangerous than our carbon emissions from our car combustion engines. And Breeze pointed out, what about the fire departments, especially the rural fire departments, that aren't equipped with the chemicals to fight a electric vehicle fire, battery fires from these things? Can't use water. Got to use a certain chemical, foam chemical, to combat it. Just like somebody was talking about, someplace I can't remember, probably Texas. The first fully automated robotic, I think it was McDonald's, that is open. All autonomous. Not a human being works there. Other than somebody goes in and programs it. I'm sure there's few humans, because there's something a program and a robot can't do everything. You still have to have some human labor, but you only need one or two compared to a whole workforce. But yet, that's been there. We've seen this stuff pop up before COVID was popped up, to where you didn't have to go to the counter to order your food at McDonald's. You could use the kiosks. We've seen them pushing virtual tickets for movie theaters. There was a big push for delivery. Amazon was pushing it big, well before COVID. Then all of a sudden COVID came. Now look at it. It's all popular. Everybody's doing it now. Everybody's using the DoorDash. Everybody's using the delivery. Or pick up at the box at Walmart or various stores. It was all ready to go before it even happened. But we don't question the things when they first start talking about it. We think, oh, cool, that's going to be cool. I don't have to go out. And in some cases, it is cool. I found a use for it that I never thought I would, because I never used it until a couple of weeks ago. I was stuck. Couldn't get a jump start. Neighbor was out of town. So I needed a battery charger. Because, hey, my dad grabbed the one out of my truck. So I didn't have one. Fix that. That won't be a problem now. You can keep the one that he took out of there. Because now I got one. But if it wasn't for that, I'd have been stuck. And I was stuck for like 3 days. Couldn't get nobody to jump me. Just everybody was out visiting with family and friends for holidays and stuff. So I ordered one. They delivered it. And guess what? I didn't need it. Because the guy that delivered it, I'm like, because I made the comment, well, hopefully this fixes the issue. And I'll be able to get the battery charged. She's like, you need a jump? I'm like, yeah, I could use one. You got battery cable? He's like, you got battery cables? Yeah. Didn't need to use it. Here I ordered it, have it delivered, and a good Samaritan that he was offered to give me a jump. Which was great, because I was running out of stuff. Because I found that battery charger takes about 2 hours to charge a battery. Let's get her buying something cheaper. But it works. But I'm just tired of the excuses. Everybody wants to make an excuse for things. Everybody says they want change. But what are you doing to make that change happen? Stop complaining, start doing. And I've always said it starts at the home. You want change, it's got to start here. The other thing I'm tired of seeing, we got to blame the white person. We got to make everything about race. No, we don't. Race has nothing to do with any of the problems we're facing. The root of our problems has become our government, become our politicians, has become our legal institutes that are supposed to enforce laws. The whole transgender identity bullshit can be easily solved with one Supreme Court ruling. You are what your DNA dictates at birth. You cannot change your DNA. Oh yeah, I did get an argument on that one. That was good, kind of a good argument. Well, what about genotherapy? What about it? Still dictate. So you're making the change before life. It's still an embryo and an embryo. And there's no guarantee. Science is still 50-50 on what, if it works or doesn't work. Sometimes it works, sometimes it don't. So therefore, yeah, maybe. But who can afford that? Oh, that's right. Only the rich and millionaires. You can't. So let's not even go talking about genotherapy. But I'm sure our governments eventually, once they get it dialed in more, it's going to say, hey, yeah, we can do this. We recommend you doing this. We want you to do this. Well, if you want me to do something, then I really don't want to do it. Yes, I think this what those drag queen shows are. They are illegal. I broke common sense. I got to be 18 or older to go in an adult bookstore. I got to be 18 or older to go in a bar, unless I'm accompanied by an adult. I got to be 18 or older to go into a strip club, an adult entertainment facility. I have to be over 18. Your kids should not be taking part of no drag queen show. It's just common sense. In fact, that shouldn't even be in our school systems and our libraries. You should be taking a stand right then and there. If you guys start taking a stand, saying, no, we're not having this, so what? The DOJ is going to tell you parents, you can't do that to a school board. You can't tell them. Yes, you can. That is the parents' right, and that is their duty to make sure the school board is giving the kids the proper education and curriculum and not going behind the parents' back. No, they are not domestic terrorists for doing their jobs as parents. Stop living by fear. When we stop living by fear and taking stands as a community, as a whole, we don't have to be talking about this stuff. Action, not inaction. We need action. We need you. If you're going to complain about it, you're going to say this is what needs to be done, then live it. Be it. Be the example. Otherwise, a set of lips will say anything. it's just, we got common sense issues. We don't need to be arguing amongst ourselves. We don't need to get caught up in these echo chambers. We need to be living examples of action. We need to say no when something's wrong and we know is wrong. When we know something is morally wrong, we need to take a stand. We need to stop being afraid of what somebody's going to say. I don't give a damn what you say or think of me. That's you. I'm happy with myself, my life. And I'm going to take the words of those that are closer to me over a perfect stranger that's just got offended or thinks I need to be living my life a different way. You don't know me from Joe. In fact, Joe knows me better than you. We talk about so much stuff here. We talk about things I don't even want to talk about because I'm sick of talking about it. You know what's the worst thing in the world? Talking to a room with nothingness. Well, I can't say that because I'd get a better conversation out of a room with nothingness. Because it's not truly nothingness. We're talking to people that just aren't going to change. They don't know how to take that step because it's the fear, the unknown. Oh, if I do that, I'm going to lose all my friends. I might lose my job. Back in a time, if you lost your job for something over your opinion or your views or your beliefs, well, that company could be held accountable for firing you because of that. But when they see that people are going to lie down, or, we'll just hide it. You can't afford it, so. Most people in this time and age right now, no, we can't afford to lose our jobs. We can't afford to go a day without them. We can't afford to be a day sick and miss work. But yet, here we are. We're giving them all the control. We're giving people on these social media platforms control over what we can or can't say because we might offend somebody. I don't care. I'm not going to sit here and argue with you either. I'm going to state my opinion and go on my merry way. Like, I don't care how many likes, retweets. I'm not in it for a popularity contest. I don't have that. I don't have an ego. I have an ego, but it's not that kind of an ego. But too many people do. Too many people get caught up because we've been programmed and told, you got to have all these followers. You got to have all these subscribers. That's how you're going to make some money. That's how you're going to get attention. Honestly, I don't care. These videos are meant for those that stumble across them. Those that just happen to tune in, or those that actually like what I say, which I find that hard to believe people like what I say. But it's the authenticity of it. It's the fact that, hey, I'm happy with only 80 subscribers here on YouTube. I'm happy with over 200 on the Mind that's part of my group that listens to the stuff, that posts in there, that interacts. I'm happy with what I got on Twitter. I don't need 50,000K MAGA supporters. I don't need 50,000 red pill people, because they got it wrong too. They got it very wrong, and they're part of the problem. What I need is people that I talk to, that I interact with on a constant basis. People when I disappear for a month or two on end. Like, hey, sending me messages, where you at? Or the ones that know where I'm at, taking a break, they know. I do it frequently. Why do I care about what all these people are going to say when they don't even know me? They don't interact with me. They might like or interact with a tweet here and there, but that's just it. You know, everybody's, it's like, it is, it's literally, social media platforms is all about a popularity contest for people. You know, like my Facebook, it's mostly family. And most of that's family from Brazil. Because most of my family here in the United States is long gone and passed. On my dad's side, you know, Rutledge is a dying breed. And soon, people are going to believe exactly what Nancy Pelosi read that was a fake article that was already debunked as wrong information, but she told it to everybody as it was public that John Rutledge's land was. It's like, no, I'm not even going there because she's a nobody. I don't care what these celebrities got to say. Really, I don't. What I like seeing is people like Upchurch or what's his name? Tom McDonald, I think his name. Independent artists that are making it big, making it on their own. Because that's part of the American dream. That's what it was about. You don't want to go do this and not having to rely on a record company or a label. But they've used platforms like YouTube to do it. They've had headaches. They've been censored. They've been put through the ringer. But I've watched a musical genius, both of them are, make it in a world that they tell you, if you don't have a record label, you don't have a record deal to a major label, you can't make it. Tom McDonald's got just put out a #2 song on the pop charts, and he's not a pop artist. He did something completely different that we're not even used to. Quite frankly, I don't care for it, but I care and respect for what he did. What he's showing. He's living actions through words, and he's got people that fans that are supporting him. Not a record label, not a bunch of Hollywood celebrities. Everyday people. That's what it's supposed to be about. See, there is positive things that we can do with these social media platforms. I go to YouTube and learn whatever I want to learn that most people have puts themselves in debt for the rest of their life, or half their life at least, for a college education to do. I can usually, if I don't know what's wrong, because I'm a backyard mechanic anyway, jack of all trades, not much I can't do. But either in the kitchen, in the garage, or construction, you name it, I've done it. Great web welding. But every now and then you come across, especially with new vehicles, all this electronic crap, which is designed so you have to take it to the garage, spend $80+ an hour for labor fees. That's not including the parts. Even though it only takes them 5 minutes to fix, you're still getting charged for that hour. I can come on YouTube and usually track it down and figure it out and fix it myself. Guess what? I just saved myself. By the time I pay parts, it might be a couple, $300 in parts. Sometimes a hell of a lot less, but I just saved myself about $500. Normally, you take it to a garage, it's going to cost you anywhere between $500 to $800, depending on what you wrote. It's usually something small and simple you can fix for yourself for way cheaper. And there's some things I just don't like working on, so I'll have my cousin do it. I'll pay him. He'll charge me $30 for labor, plus the parts. But he's also not a certified mechanic, because they don't want to give us a certified mechanic, give us the ability to be certified mechanics. We didn't go through the schools. We don't got a paper that says we're a certified mechanic. Why do I need a paper when I grew up in the garage? When I can tear an engine, strip it clear down to its block, put it right back together, and it runs better than what it did before I did it. Rebuild the whole engine. How did I get taught that? My grandpa, my dad, my cousin, my grandfather's brother. My grandfather's brother could sit there and listen to your car and tell you what was wrong with it. I watched him one day take a screwdriver, put it up against the engine, put it against his ear, told the guy who just had this car come from a shop, because it was a high performance racing engine, told him it was 2 degrees out of time. He's like, "Oh no, they did it. No." My grandfather was there. And oddly enough, I'd forgotten this until I actually met the dude. Perfect stranger to me. I didn't know him. And he was at somebody's house and just happened to pull in asking for directions. And they were like, but yeah, he went and got the timing gun. Sure enough, it was 2 degrees out of timing. But he didn't need the gun. I had somebody tell me, well, you need all this experience and all this education to code. Do I? I learned how to code, how to build a website, how to build the backends, the programming, the script writing, the apps, all from YouTube. To the point where dude didn't think I could do it. And he's like, well, I'm just going to pay somebody to do it. Well, he paid somebody some good money, lost that money, and what the dude produced within took me a month to get the platform up and running. Just straight coding it myself, creating it, designing it, building it through code. Doing all the back end server work that I learned on YouTube. Learned, reading stuff that takes people 4 years, 8 years of college education. Took me a month and a half, basically. And I kept perfecting it until I had a perfect structure built out to where I could do anything and everything I wanted to, including our own server farms. If we put our minds to it, there ain't nothing we can't do and can't accomplish. But we always have those naysayers. Oh, you can't do that. Why can't I? I'm not. One, you're not going to know until you try. You're not going to know until you put the effort in it. And yes, some things we just might not be good at. But we learn. And that's what I'm taking into 2023. I'm going to learn from this year, because this year was crap for me. Just nothing good came out of this year for me, which is untrue. I learned a lot of valuable lessons. I learned a lot of things, met some cool people, which outweigh the bad. I'm just trying to get out of 2022 with no more hiccups or headaches, no more being sick, no more screwing up anything, any more body parts. I'm trying to get 2023. 2023, I'm not going to say that because, I know me. There's always going to be something I want to talk about that is political. There's always going to be something that'll pop up that it will trigger me. Well, they trigger me because maybe it's something I think it needs to be talked about. What I don't need to be talked about and don't need to be seen is boosting up people that are living a role-playing life that's fetish is designed for the bedroom room only, or in an adult establishment, and keep posting all this stuff, sharing it with everybody, making these guys want to do it more because their egos start going melodical. They get a popularity. They think they're celebrities all of a sudden. No. You're gonna go on, act like a diva, put out stupid shit. I'm not resharing it. But everybody wants to jump on it. And the worst part of it is when we start doing that, we lose focus on the subject matter, the real matter. The real matter, what's happening is illegal. And I see a lot of these big YouTube channels do it. Now they want to talk about the stupid ketchup thing. I seen that. I've seen that in my tweet. I instantly unfollowed the person that shared that. Why? Why do you share something like that? Why do you want to share the stupidity of some people? Well, it's funny. It's nothing funny about it. It's sickening. Some of that we used to call schizophrenia, mental disorders. Now it's something to do with identity. The very same thing they were locking people up in asylums for, in psychiatric wards. All of a sudden is now okay. I've got friends, a bunch of friends that say, into the fetish lifestyle, into the BDSM lifestyle. And they find what they're seeing appalling. I've got a friend that does drag. He's straight as can be. Got a banging ass girlfriend who supports what he does, makes good money at the adult entertainment venues that he does do the drags in. And you know what? He even finds it appalling that they're allowing children to see this and partake in this. And he sat back and talked about it. And he's like, almost everybody I do shows with, they feel the same way. This is appalling. This is wrong. This gives a bad name to us who do it as a performance, as an art. He's like, I'm not gay, I'm not homosexual, I'm straight. But I enjoy putting on a show. I enjoy doing something that's different. And I respect that. I respect that man. Because you wouldn't know it unless you've seen him in drag. And actually, you wouldn't know it then. It's actually pretty good. Unless you were up close and personal, you wouldn't have known. From a distance, yeah, no. He's good. But every day, you would not have known unless you actually know him. I get it. People, Just a heads up, guys. Stream's gonna cut out here in a second. Don't go nowhere. I'm just gonna repop in the stream key and we'll be right back up. It does it at the hour mark. I'm shocked it hasn't done it yet. You know, it's just like, I'm tired of seeing people run from platform to platform every time censorship happens. When we do that, they win. Because now we're scattered and divided. Much more harder for us to come together. And I've learned this from clear back my Ning days. When we were building, had websites and adminning websites, or helping run websites. Back in the early 2000s, back in MySpace days. That's where they started beta testing this stuff, censorship, because they started doing it. Slowly, it's like, oh, you can't post this content. You can't have a survival group. And they still start thinking, so what do we do? Okay, fine, we'll just go to another platform. We find another platform. Well, we went from having 3,000 to only 15,000. Then when it started happening on that platform, we'd go to another one. Well, we went from 15,000 to 800, 500. And it happens every time we jump. And I was like, man, I'm not jumping no more. In fact, I'm done with Ning. I'm done with this. I want my own platform. I want to host my own platform. I want to, have my own site. And we did. We got people back. Didn't happen there. The hosting provider says, no, you can't have that. You need to take that down. I'm not taking it down. Okay, then we're going to terminate your website. All right, go ahead. That's what, this whole time, when I created, shortly after that, that's when we created Sons and Daughters over here over YouTube. I already had a couple other YouTube channels for gaming, one for esoteric occult stuff, and one was just, me. Right? I was doing stuff before we created this, where I was talking some political stuff, some do-it-yourself projects and stuff. I'm like, when we created this, I brought all that stuff over here and just went from it. Kept on going. Never had a problem. Yeah, censorship's happening. Oh, we're going to DLive. We're going over here. We're going to Rumble, Getter, Gab, Minds, which I am a member of the Minds, and actually I'm streaming from my group over in the Minds, from the Gathering. It's called the Gathering app. Just the app for technical purposes, but they call it the Gathering on the app, on the Minds. But I can also do it from my chat. I do a live stream from my chat over on the Mind. It's cool. The tools they got. I love the Mind. But I'm still streaming to YouTube. That's where I got my base. Where I got my stuff. Yeah, I got more followers and stuff over in the Minds. But I share it everywhere. I've got backups everywhere. So, YouTube removes 2 videos. Whoop-dee, you did nothing. I already had it backed up somewhere, so I just removed the YouTube link and put the Internet Archive link in. Guess what? Video back up. You did nothing. Yes, I have my own website, which I haven't been keeping up because I work too much. I don't normally, I do this on my own. I don't have co-hosts. Occasionally, Bree will come in. Occasionally, I might have a guest or two on. But other than that, I've done this by myself. I don't have admins to moderate my chat. Unless Bree's on or Rob happens to pop in. Other than that, I don't rely on other people. Just kind of make, like I said, I want to do some faces on Twitter. But the way it's set up, I would more likely need a co-host. Or somebody to, co-host it for me to help out. Could I do it without one? Yeah, probably. Yeah, I know I could. But then it's a distraction. I love how my phone is quiet most of the day. And now all of a sudden just wants to blow up. Nobody wants to text me throughout the day. They wait till I'm doing a live podcast. Then they get mad when I ignore them. You know, it's just, we get caught up in too much stuff. We get caught up in other people's drama. You know, which we shouldn't. We shouldn't be getting caught up in anything that goes on in the internet. We shouldn't allow it to trigger us and affect us emotionally. But we do. But then we want to blame everybody else. I guess people probably say, well, you're blaming everybody that's sharing these posts. Well, yeah, because we shouldn't be. You know, why are we giving any more attention to something that shouldn't be getting attention? We can talk about it. We can tweet about it. We don't need to be sharing the images or the TikTok link or sharing the links. Because all we're doing is generating them more views and pushing their content up in the algorithms. So it gets shown to more people. And unfortunately, those people are usually the younger kids who shouldn't be seeing it. You know, some things I'm just not a fan of. Don't get me wrong. I mean, there's some funny shit on TikTok. There's some funny shorts. But we're rewarding people for being stupid. We're not rewarding them for real comedy. I wouldn't even class it as slapstick comedy. I guess too many people have seen Jackass. Which, you know, I gotta admit, it was funny. You know, I don't know. To each their own on that note. You know, I grew up in a generation where we didn't get internet until, you know, mid 90s, mid to late 90s. You know, and then it was just bulletin boards and stuff like that, forums. Now look at it. You know, look at the addiction to cell phones. You know, I sit back and look at all the things that, you know, say make our life better, but it strips us of freedom that become addictions. You know, I see how negative that these social media platforms can be to a person. You know, and you're gonna get that. You're gonna get the good with the bad. Unfortunately, so many of these things have been designed to control us, manipulate us, use us, feed us false information by our governments. We see the celebrities buy into it, they're the true prostitutes of the world. They take the money, they say what they're told, and don't care. They got paid to perform their work. And they probably don't agree with the message that they said, but hey, you paid me to say it, so I'm going to say it. Hollywood's always been that. Been the true the Babylon of horrors. I mean, honestly, there was a Sodom and Gomorrah of today. It went out. Some people say it'd be Vegas. No, it's Hollywood. It's always been Hollywood. And I mean, look at the movies they put out. Movies of past 10 years have been crap. They've been garbage. They've been nothing but political. Nothing but political. And that's a problem. They've been used as propaganda war machines, psychological war machines, since the founding of Hollywood. I find it interesting that, some states are trying to do the right thing. I mean, we had a lot of gains this year, especially on the constitutional carry aspect of it. We had a lot of states go for constitutional carry. Great. I'd like to see that continue more in 2023, but how long before our government says no, we're not going to allow it? I mean, obviously, our government don't care about our constitutional rights. They don't care what our founding fathers wanted for this country. They don't even represent our founding fathers in the Constitution anymore. Everybody, what about this? What about them? What have they done for you? What have they really done for you? They spend way too much time posting on Twitter and these social media platforms, and that bill, I was glad to see that the government, no TikTok allowed on any government devices, no social media. It should have been no social media apps of any kind should be allowed on a government. That Twitter, Facebook, none of them. Because that's not what you're getting paid to do in there. That's not what we put you in there to represent. We put you in there so you actually sit there and read a bill instead of tweeting about it. Or tweeting how big the bill is. We're not going to have enough time to read. Well, you had enough time to tweet that tweet and post it and share it and make comments. You had time to do a live stream. Why do we keep letting them in? I don't get it. Why aren't we cultivating the next senators, the next congressmen and women, the next state legislators, congressmen and women? Why aren't we putting the people that we know want change in those places? People that are just working, that knows what it's like every day. That's not going to be corrupted by the money. People are going to pass legislation so they can't become multimillionaires while in Congress. People is going to bring bills to re-challenge how much corporations can spend and influence elections. Because there's several good arguments that can be made, the danger of it. Especially now we've seen it work and transpire for almost 10 plus years. We need to take the corporations out of our politics. We need to take big pharma out of our politics. We need to fix it so they can't lobby. You know, and we've changed the name of it so many times. Pork barrel spending, lobbying, lobbyist. It's a bribery. There's one word that depicts it all. It's called bribery. You are bribing an elected official, and it's a crime. You know, just like every Congress, anybody that's in any form of government, whether it be state or federal, their income tax and all their financials should be shown, so they're not making multi-million dollars on loopholes of insider trading. That where we did it, we'd be sitting in a federal penitentiary, and not the Camp Honeybun type. Because we're not multi-millionaires. We're going to the real deal. Real deal. You know, it is sickening. It is sickening how the wealthy and the rich get away with everything. How they live by a different set of rules than the rest of us. But they live in fear too. Oh, we're going to get you for taxes. Oh, you missed these taxes, so we're going to get you. You know, so well, if you don't want us to come after you, you better change your tune. You better retract your statement and fall in line, or else we're going to kick you out of Hollywood. We're going to kick you out of the Writers Guild. Grow a backbone. You want to be role models? Be role models. Don't be prostitutes. There's always going to be that rift between the rich and the poor. And the worst part is the poor keeps getting poorer. The middle class has shrunk. I would willing to say half the middle class in the last 10 years has fell into poverty. I could be wrong on my guessing on the numbers there, but I would say half in the last 10 years of the middle class has fallen into poverty. And there's nobody to blame but those in charge, those that we put to represent us. Because they're the ones passing the laws in the legislature. They're the ones that are allowing this shit to happen. They're the ones that want to spend money we don't have. Give to every country but our own. Now, it'd have been a different story if our founding fathers were around. You could bet your bottom dollar on that one. In fact, your bottom dollar would be worth something right now if they were still here and in charge. They wouldn't tolerate what's going on. Not one bit. And so many of them warned people for the future not to allow this to happen. That it could happen and would happen. And sure enough, it is happening. History repeats itself. And it gets to that point. It gets there because of, sowing the seeds and cords of this division, fear, sending our kids to indoctrination centers that we call schools, that we don't have say over the curriculum that's being taught. Where the parents no longer have a say in what their children are to be, what morals their children can have. No, we need to get back to those core foundations. And those things start at the home. First change starts with yourself, then in the home, then in your communities. We need more movements like that. We need to quit arguing amongst ourselves over political bullshit that it's just bullshit. No, I don't give a flying fuck about Julian Assange. But so many do. So many people care. When you play the information game, you control information, you say you have this stuff that could sink a country, guess what? You're going to put a bullseye on your back. And I'm sure if we look into some of that, outside the echo chambers, we'll probably see he may have shared information with certain countries for certain things. Because he holds the information. He controls it. And governments fear that. You know, Snowden. I respected him until he went to these other countries. Because in the truth, there's only one currency that has any real value, and that's information. You know, I don't care about the crypto stuff. I find it a joke. I think it's funny. You're taking something that's an illusion, and giving it value. I can't hold a crypto. Yes, I can cash it in for cash, but it's technically nothing there. There's nothing backing it. It's intellectual property. It's make-believe. It's role-playing something. It's Monopoly money has more value than that. The irony of it is, but there it is, the get-rich scheme. Everybody buys into it. You're sitting there making somebody else a millionaire. And yeah, there's been some amazing stories. People didn't get rich, didn't make money. But it's just like the stock market, it all comes rolling down eventually. And a lot of people lose. And it's usually those that can't afford it that, well, maybe I can make a little extra. Make something. Take a gamble. It's a gamble. It is. Stock market is nothing but a gamble. Here, roll the dice. But yet we've seen how they can influence it. I mean, cryptocurrency is no different than the stock market. You'll get a bunch of people, all of a sudden they're going to sell it and crash it. Bring the value down. Buy it cheaper and let it slowly come back up and do it again. I don't know. And I get it though. I mean, we all struggle. We all want to be a millionaire. We all want to hit the lotto. So we'll buy that ticket when it gets up there. Or some people will buy a crap ton. They'll spend hundreds and hundreds of dollars buying tickets. You only need one to have a horse in the race. Because the percentage is, you buy those 100 tickets, I buy this one, I got to still have pretty much all the same odds as you do. But look how much money the lotto system makes. I know some send it back, put it back in school systems. I know North Carolina lotto. I mean, it goes up as people buys. And a big chunk of that goes back into the school systems. But then we found the ugly truth on that one. How that money wasn't going to all the school system. It was only going to the ones that were, even supporting the curriculums with Common Core. Eventually, the dirty little secret got revealed on that one. I'm happy with little. I'm just as happy with little, having little, than a lot. Yeah, I have more. I have two vehicles. They're older. I mean, 2001, 99. I just have two vehicles. But that's two vehicles I have to pay insurance on. That's two vehicles that I got to keep my tags and registration up on. Then I got to keep money to keep them running. Where some people, they've got 6, 7, 8 vehicles or more. Money will buy a lot of things. But in the end, when money starts getting tight, a lot of those things aren't worth much, because you're going to turn around and have to sell them at far less than what you paid for them. In some cases, they won't even pay off, reselling them won't even pay off the bank note you paid for them. So then when you take that bank loan out, you're paying more than what it's actually worth. Where if you just paid cash, or saved up and paid cash right then and there, well, you'd have saved yourself several grand. But some, they trick you there too. Well, you can have it now if you take the loan. Oh, wait. But you got to have bad credit or good credit. If you don't have no credit, you can't get a loan. How is that you get punished for having no credit? But yet, if you got bad credit, you can get anything you want. I mean, but that's where we're at. That's how they trick you and deceive you. They want you in debt. They want you to have credit cards. They want you to have all these bills. They want you owing them money so they can threaten to take your house, your car, because you're behind on payments. That's why I'm glad. I mean, I took a loan out for my Suburban because I got a good deal on it. And the truth is, I got a real good deal on it, because even with the bank note, I still paid. I paid maybe $1,000 more at the end of it, all said and done. But the deals I got cut off, it made that $1,000 like shit. It was a good investment at the time. I mean, I put myself in debt for 10 years, putting a metal roof on my parents' house. The house will be mine one day. Future investment. And what sold me on it was the warranty. So now I don't have to worry about the roof on the garage or the house. It was worth it. It was a good future investment for me. Even if I sell it. Because that warranty goes to that next person. Lifetime warranty. So, yeah, I might have spent 26 grand. But I also look at it this way. My dad was too old to be climbing up on the roof and helping. I could have done it, but it would have took forever. Why not? And that's, good job, making good, decent, all right money. I can afford the bank note. It's an investment. some things, yeah. But I mean, it's still, if I lose my job, Houston, we have a problem, right? Because now I give somebody the ability of, oh, you can't pay that. We're going to take your house. We're going to take your land. So, there's consequences with the choices we make. Are you willing to accept the consequences of those choices? The risk that you're putting up with those choices. As I learned this year, hey, I went for a long period without ever being sick. Gotten older. I got sick a bunch in the past year. Missed a lot of work. Kind of put me behind the 8 ball. I had to play catch up for 3 months just to get caught back up on everything. But I did. And once again, I ended up sick again at the end of the year. With dental issues. But, abscess. 3 abscess teeth. Double root canal. Caught the flu on top of it. So I missed 2 more weeks of work. In the weather storm. I already I noticed. 2-hour commute. That big problem. That's coming in next month. I already talked to the landlord. Because certain things I couldn't get out this week because, got behind on some bills, which kind of kept me from getting the U-Haul in the storage unit. But I got a cool landlord. And part of me is like, I enjoy my independence. I enjoy. I'm not the type of person who wants to live with their parents in a house that they, essentially their own. Granted, the whole upstairs is basically my studio, basically a studio apartment for me. And I'm welcome. My daddy was sitting there, I don't see why you're renting. I'm renting because I'm with someone. She's got kids and this and that. We see how that turned out. Yeah, they say there's a sucker born every day. I just happen to be that sucker this time. I mean, he told my landlord what happened. And he's like, no, I can't believe it. I mean, she passed the background check. We checked in her military stuff. I'm like, yeah, she was a scammer. Straight con artist. I was the sucker that went to the airport and waited for an hour for her not to show up. Just because, yeah, I kind of seen the writing on the wall after the leak. So I found out about some legal stuff. And after I talked to a detective about it, but we were still talking. Everything was still kosher. So, part of me wants to believe. I brought it up. She's like, oh man, no. She gave me the story of what happened, supposedly, and guess what? She lied. And now I'm stuck. For a little bit. I mean, I'm going to be screwed with the $930, but I'll eventually get that back through her. I will take legal action. And plan on it. I've already talked to a detective, and I've got stuff working on there. But if he's away, I'm still going to be held accountable for Something I wasn't even aware of. Even the detective, like, you're just a bunch of the victim, but he goes, I know you don't know. I believe you. You didn't know. Even he said, dude, I mean, she was good. But what can you do? Live and learn. I'm not going to let it get me down. I wasted 2 years in a relationship that was a scam. Like, at first, he didn't believe me when yeah, we got the apartment together. Straight con artists. There's people out there. I mean, I prided myself. You don't see through people like that instantly. You can catch them. I mean, I have fun playing with some of the bots. Some of these scam artists. I mean, how many times are you going to message me with the same message with a different picture and a different name? But you're saying the same thing that the previous one said. I mean, easy. There's too much of that, and it's become a lot easier for people to do that. You know, that's what our FBI and law enforcement should be going after. The real crimes. These con artists, these people. But you know what they tell you? Here's the scapegoat they use. Well, they're in another country, so we can't get them. So, well, we can get you because you might have been just a middle guy, didn't know nothing about it, but you're in the United States, so we can get you. You know, where's my protection under the law? No, they do what they want. You know, instead of going after the real criminals, they rather go after people that have a voice, that are questioning things that our government's telling them, what the so-called CDC is telling them. They rather censor all these doctors and have their accounts removed, threaten them with their jobs because they're talking, giving a whole different story about vaccines and COVID. But eventually the truth comes out. But hey, we got the major media outlets. We got this. We're not going to tell you this is happening. We're going to tell you the Twitter files exist. But then we get back to it. Okay, well, Fox News is more right-leaning than anything. They even lie because they support one side. They don't tell you both sides of the story. They don't let you, as an individual, make your own decisions. What's right and what's wrong, what's truth, what's false. They want to control the narrative for their political party. They're all guilty. And we're just as guilty when we start listening to them. When we start arguing amongst ourselves and dividing us. When we start splitting our families up. Oh, you're not vaccinated, you can't come over here for the holidays. What? It's mentally taxing to realize the games that they play. And it's all mind games. It's all the things they do. If we took a stand, if we questioned everything, we didn't believe nothing they say, they would lose that control over us. That's why it's so important for them to control social media. So important for them to have corporations come in and bully social media platforms through stripping their advertisements. But then again, it still falls on those people. Now they're become based on greed. They gotta have that money. What they're making is not enough. And we see it. We see it with all these big YouTube channels. Not all, but most. well, we can't talk about this here. You need to get a subscription to our website so you can watch the after hour show. Or we're going to talk about these things that we can't say over here. No, the things you can't say over here is the things you need to be saying over here. Because that's where your base is. That's where your big audience is for that hour, 2 hours if you're streaming and talking about these things. Now you become just as much part of the problem that you're bitching about. And eventually I get tired of it and I unsubscribe from these people. Why am I going to support somebody to become the problem? Even though I like what they talk about. But if you're going to run, you're going to act like a coward and go hide on another place and not inform the people that you talk about, you care about, that you want to inform. That tells me you become just as greedy as our politicians. Or you live in so much fear that you're not somebody I want to be around or listen to anymore. Because I don't want that vibe or energy influencing me and influencing that, well, I better not talk about this person I got a strike for. No, I'm going to talk about it. What are you going to do? Yeah, you can take my channel. I'm going to back up, ready to go. And another one. But then, but I'm going to lose all those subscribers and followers. No. I mean, yeah, you might lose some. But eventually, people are going to spread. Okay, they're over here now. Business as usual. They're going to come back. They're loyal. They like what you're doing. It becomes a numbers game, and people are scared to lose that number. So therefore, you're giving control to somebody else. You don't have free speech. You gave your free speech away. And yes, and I've proven it. Being the low guy on the totem pole pays off. I've got videos showing, hey, I get more reach than what the analytics here on YouTube say. I get more views than what the analytics say. I've had college kids tell me, oh yeah, we listen to it. We love it. Bring up a podcast. Like, shit, how did you know? That's not reviewed it, Like, I don't care about the numbers. Quality is better than quantity any day of the week. I'll take a few people over many. That we can discuss things, that we're not worried about triggering each other, getting offended, that we can have conversations and hear each other's opinions and views, even opinions and views that we disagree with. When we can start doing that, we start breaking the cycle. We start breaking away from the control mechanism that has been designed to control us. We start freeing ourselves, freeing our mind, and removing the bonds of slavery that they've enslaved us to. And to 2023, that is my goal. Continue doing content like that. Stuff that's going to free you, not keep you. Talk about these things that they're using against you more and more to make you aware. And in the end, these videos are just meant for those that stumble across them. Because that's, when I do a podcast, I do it with a mindset it's meant for somebody. It's not meant for everybody. But that one somebody was meant to hear it, so therefore I'm going to do it. Don't care if I have an audience or not. Don't care if it only gets one view or no views. I felt drawn to talk about it, and therefore I talked about it. Because therefore, I was drawn to talk about it means it's meant for somebody out there. It might not be today, tomorrow. It might be a couple years down the road they come across this video. And therefore, I did my job. I did my part. It's not a popularity contest. We're not back in junior high and high school. I'm not going to play the childish games. I'm here for my enjoyment. Like I said, I've already made decisions already. I do my decision making like in October for the coming year. I sat back and reflect on all the things that transpired, all the things I accomplished, things I didn't. Usually that's why I take a break in October. Because I sit back and reflect. I try to at least like one, usually weekend for me, like Saturday or Sunday, I'll sit back and reflect the week. Kind of tune out from things. I've learned that, we got to set aside time away from all these platforms, all these influences, and reflect. Question the things we've seen or things that happened in a week. Something might have triggered us. Why did it trigger us? Why did it bother us? Why did that bother me? You truly want to be free? Master thyself. First and foremost. When something bothers you, question why it did. Why did that bother me? Why did that trigger? Why did that make me mad? Why am I giving somebody power over me? Why am I giving somebody a chance to be able to manipulate me and control me by setting me off? Because when that happens, I'm not the one in control. I'm giving that control to them for a split second or a moment. But we have these platforms that go, if you trigger them, you say this, it'll trigger them. You don't use the proper pronouns. You know what the proper pronouns are to me? Ma'am, sir, miss, mister, yes sir, no sir, yes ma'am, no ma'am, your name. No, I'm not going to call you doctor because that's a title. That's not a pronoun. They say it's a noun, but no, it's a title. That's what you are. You're a doctor. When you're not in a doctor's office, you are, what's your name? Sir? No, I'm not going to change these, theirs, thous, and all that. Nope. No, I actually got taught English. Real English. Learned to use it. But they keep changing the dictionary title, don't they? Or, we'll have Stanford come out with a list of things you can't say. It's offensive. Or something crazy. You can't say American. You can't say brave. It's offensive. Okay. Just like people would get triggered when you called them snowflake. Honestly, that was a compliment. Anybody that knows science, that actually knows there is no two snowflakes are alike. They are unique. Every snowflake is unique and different from the other. So actually, when you guys were calling people snowflakes, you were actually complimenting them. You were saying they were unique. And it turns out, some of them were quite unique because they started questioning things. They started seeing through things. But we were stuck in our echo chambers and we were listening to our favorite podcasters say they're snowflakes. But they weren't stepping outside those echo chambers to see for themselves. They just see what's a portion. They didn't step out of their area to see everything else. You can't judge a book by its cover, ever. You can't even read the back and make a good judgment. But we are reaching the 2-hour mark, and I am not doing another hour. I got things I want to do. I want to relax, enjoy the last couple of days off. I don't know if I'm going to, well, honestly, actually, probably not. I know after the first, I'm definitely won't be doing any podcasts yet, so I'll be 2 weeks without a paycheck, so internet bill's not going to get paid. Phone's actually going to be deactivated here probably at first. I'm behind on, I didn't get this month's payment on it. And plus I was preparing to move, so the only thing that got paid was my rent-a-center and rent and a little bit of food, and the other bills that fell in the weeks that they normally get taken out, well, I didn't have a check. So I'm going to be playing catch up for at least till the end of January, but after January I'll be called back out. Then after January I'll finally be able to have back to where I used to be with, not paying $670 rent a month. An electric bill, which I haven't paid in 2 months because somehow it's been paid for. I figured that one out, but been credited 2 months so far. And I dread to see, because I know it's not going to happen a third month in a row. I'm going to dread to see the bill when the January bill comes out for the end of December because of the winter storm we got and having to run the furnace. But it'll be the last time I have to pay that. So there's some plus things. Like I said, not everything's negative. And I don't focus on the negatives. I can learn from them and move on. I'm not going to dwell on the past and the negatives. I'm going to dwell on the experience and what I learned from them and hopefully make better decisions and choices in the future. With that said, I want to wish you guys all a happy new year. Let 2023 be better than 2022. I know for me it's going to be because I'm going to make it that way. Be safe. Those are going to go out partying. I'm not going out anywhere. I'm got older. I don't see the need to go do all that anymore. Been there, done that. And it's a hell of a lot cheaper to stay at home and with a few friends, which I'm not even going to bother with this year. I'll probably do a podcast as long as the internet's up and, do a New Year's with you guys, kind of a New Year's review, which I really don't want to do a New Year's review because, quite frankly, there's nothing really good to talk about. I mean, don't get me wrong, there's a lot of good things that happened this year. Like I said, the good outweighs the bad, and it always does. As long as that is our mindset. Actually, I had a good year here on YouTube. Yes, I did less videos, but I want to say, had better talks and concepts and a lot of issues. A lot of things to make people think, so I'm happy with that. Next year I'm going to take in a little bit different direction with some things. But you'll see as we come about. I actually do plan. I might tomorrow night. I might do a podcast. It's not going to be political. It's going to be urban myths, legend, folklore, something like that. Something different. And I want to try to do one of those a month, just to keep things different. Keep things talking about stuff that makes you think and question things, because that's what it's about. That's what we need to be doing, thinking and questioning things. And that type of talks help. We all got our own opinions when it comes to the paranormal, angels, demons, Sasquatch, Bigfoot, Yetis, UFOs. I have unique opinions and views on that. Clear down to vampires. And we're going to have fun with it. And I want to bring some fun content over here. Not always political. So I'm looking forward to that. Like I said, I'm going to plan on doing that, the first one of those tomorrow night, probably around 7-ish. So I'm looking forward to that. I want to try to get some other people involved to come on and talk, different people. I tried that a little bit this year. We had some success with it. But a lot of people, you're not that big. I'd be wasting my time coming over here. And I get it. Why come over here and to a small audience when you can go somewhere else with a bigger audience? Perfectly understand. Especially if you got something important to say. I'm not going to judge you for that. Just ignore everything I've said for the last 2 hours, right? But yeah, either way, we're going to keep it fun this year, coming year. Try to, anyway. And I don't know. I don't know what the future holds. Especially with me. I'm still that carpe diem type person. I live by the moment. If something draws me to it, I'm on it. I make my decisions pretty quick. Like I said, I also got some other plans I want to do. Maybe I want to knock something off my bucket list. Maybe this year. Probably won't be this year. Be next year. But I want to start setting up and building up towards it. Something I wanted to do. Been wanting to do. So, like I said, I've got some plans coming up. I do some fishing videos when it warms up in the spring and summer. Who knows? But I am doing some fishing next year. I'm doing some kayaking and camping shit I didn't do this year. Of course, I said the same thing. I was going to work less hours, and I ended up working about the same. And granted, I didn't put no 400 or 500 hours overtime like I did previous year, but I still work too much. We're on four 10-hour days. I'm working 11-hour days. That's gonna dwindle. I'm not gonna be doing it, especially in a place where it doesn't feel the same anymore, and don't feel like you're appreciated or valued or part of the family atmosphere anymore. Things change. Leave it at that. But I want to wish you guys all good night. Enjoy your New Year's Eve celebrations. Hope you guys enjoyed my rambling. Till the next one, I'll see you.